got $1,000 left. But I have a Volkswagen Scirocco. I quit my great job that I had. I go out there, and I've never been there. The booth is $500.
Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Dean Loucks.
Hey, thanks for tuning in.
I'm very interested at Dean's whole story, at his whole background, and I've actually heard some stories that Dean has a past in skateboarding. Is that true?
Oh yeah.
For those of you that don't know Dean Loucks, he is the artist that paints all of the beautiful Liberty coaches. Today we're going to hear his story, how he went from being a skateboarder to the artist behind some of the most beautiful buses in the world. Before we do that, I think Dean and I are going to take a quick little ride in his Lamborghini here. What do you think,
Fire
Dean?
it up.
Come along for the ride. Sweet is Dean's stacker trailer. The paint job on this is just sweet.
They just need to be flexible.
Exactly. I think that Dean's skateboarding days may have helped him be able to get in and out of that door there.
Exactly right. Yeah, there'll probably come a day when I don't want to do it, but right now it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
If in a few minutes you can get it in and out of the trailer and it's a good place to keep it out of the weather, it's a good day.
You're winning, yeah. You were young, and from what I've heard, you were really good at skateboarding. What level of skateboarding did you get to?
Well, I was in competition. I was semi-pro, so the next level would have been to turn pro. Early 80s, starting to ride ramps, and the ramps getting bigger and bigger. So by 88, I was in the magazines, some of the centerfolds, and different contests around. And so one of the great contests was at the Summerfest musical venue in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They had a skateboard ramp set up there for many years in a row. I came in, was in the contest the first year. The second year, the ramp got bigger, better. After I moved to California, that contest became the X Games. So the X Games traveled around to different good contests that were in the area, and they said, hey, let's make this an X Games contest. Let's make this an X Game. And then they pulled all those contests to one venue, one area, and it's now X Games.
What happened? A young Dean Loucks was riding around on handstands on a skateboard, and then now you're the #1 RV painter in the world, and a lot of folks out there will agree with me that the paint jobs on all of the new Liberty coaches are second to none. So how did you get from the skateboard to creating the most beautiful RV artwork in the world?
Well, #1, you don't quit. So the skateboarding was a passion, and this is all going to tie together. I'll tell you how skateboarding and art come together in a great story. You wouldn't think it. As you got the passion to cruise around and you try a trick, it's learning something new, and you learn that trick, and you learn the next thing. You learn how to ride a half pipe, and you learn just how to cruise around it. You build your strength up, your body, take the abuse to get back up and keep going. You know, one thing leads to another. Pretty soon you go to contests, and then pretty soon you got some videos that you're in. Then you've got magazines that start coming out. I got sponsored with Gordon & Smith, G&S, but my goal was to be sponsored. It wasn't to be the best in the world, it was to be sponsored. But being sponsored, then you get a package every month with all your stuff, pads, boards, trucks, wheels, and what a great thing at a 25, 23 to get all this stuff showing up every month. And now you have to perform, you have to keep skating and get better. Skateboarding has just kind of been a lifelong thing. It's just kind of always been there. I enjoy it. But I relate it to the guys at the shop now, the young kids. And I'm like, here's what's going on. We're going to a contest. The contest is the next coach we're going to paint. That's the contest. Now you got to visually know that it's a painting, it's something we're applying, but in real life it is a competition and it's a contest. When you see a pool that the guys skate very well, and we watched some videos yesterday, and you could get what I was talking about, where guys go in and they just do the tricks, and it's wonderful what they're doing, but then you get someone that just plows through and makes that whole big area that's as tall as the coach, you know, the pool is, and the ramp is as tall as the coach, and they go 10 feet over the top, and they just plow through it, make it look so easy.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do with paint. We want to do this stuff that's so difficult on many, many levels, and we want to like blow it out of the water and just make it look simple. The passion not to quit started with the skateboarding. And what I realized was that when I was skateboarding, I just wanted to be sponsored. Well, the difference is now I want to be the best. When I decide I'm going to move to California, I go out there, and I've never been there. But I have a Volkswagen Scirocco. I quit my great job that I had as a design and a supervisor, and it gave me a lot of training at the Barclay Enterprises in Elkhart, Indiana. So I leave, and I travel west with $1,500, right? So by the time I'm out there for a week and the gas to get out there, I've got $1,000 left. And I thought I could just go anywhere on the coast in California, LA area, and airbrush shirts. Because that's what I could do in Florida. I could leave Indiana, go down to Florida for spring break, airbrush shirts, see the sunshine, have some warm weather, and make some money.
Yeah.
Right? And during Christmas back home, I could average $100 a shirt back in '88.
Wow.
Airbrushing shirts at the mall.
Wow.
Because they looked real.
Yeah.
You know? And they were quick, and that's how you get good at artwork, doing a lot of it real quick.
Absolutely.
So as time goes on, I moved to California. I'm on the way out. I got $1,000 left. That's all I got, right? I don't know any different. I'll get it. Realized the airbrushing of shirts on the coastline at shops wasn't going to work. But I did find the RG Canning car shows. And if you're out in the West, you've heard of the RG Canning car shows.
Oh, yeah.
So the booth is $500. It's for 2 days. So I got $250 a day I got to make just to pay for the booth. But I got to drive, and I got to buy all the paints and the shirts and stuff ahead of time, right? So I put $500 down on the show. I go, and I turn a 2-day show into a 3-day show, because as soon as I get there, I'm set up and I'm working. I walked away with $2,500, and ended up being a 3-day.
Doubled your money,
Yeah.
essentially.
Well,
yeah, a little more.
I mean, I put $500 in, but I got $2,500 back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that was the beginning.
Wow.
And shortly thereafter, I met people at the car shows that were part of Universal Studios and part of Disney. And so then I got invited to work at Wallen Green Studios at the time. They made the big movie posters and did the big CD covers, the video CDs at the time. Different movies, I'd lay them out because I had that experience. I did airbrushing, photo retouching. You know, it was cool. It worked.
Wow, that is awesome.
And just immediately you just start progressing. And then, I was working out at a sign shop there while I was in California and learned the computer. And it was in its infancy, '88, you know, that it was cutting vinyl. And you could make signage with it instead of doing it by hand with a paintbrush, you know. And I thought if I could cut a shape and then airbrush it, it's just like exactly what I do now, but I have to cut it with a razor blade. I have to make my own template. But if I could design it on a computer and tell it to cut it, I wouldn't have to cut on a vehicle. And if I don't cut on a vehicle, then I don't have cut lines on the vehicle.
Yeah.
So it led into this great computer and this vision, which then in '90, when I moved back to Indiana, I started buying the computer equipment. And it's like, I want to have this stuff myself. So I bought it, and I developed the way to use a computer and the stencils to make what we make. But shortly after we started doing the first vehicles, then Steel Chainsaws comes along, and they need their trucks, multiple trucks painted, because there's no wraps back then.
Yeah.
But they needed like really complex looking. So Saturn Race Team did the race cars on there. Lawnmower companies, Exmark, they did 5 trailers with 2 or 3 lawnmowers on each one, you know. But you could do them and duplicate them because we had the computer and it was working.
Very cool.
They're still all hand painted, but at least the shape of the lawnmower and where the wheels went and the nuts and the bolts could all be right there, and then you have to make it look real, which was the other half the talent. Which you weren't there trying to sketch it out by hand and hoping you got it right.
Yeah, hey, I'm really enjoying the progression of this story. You're out in California with $1,000 in your pocket, make some great moves back in Indiana, painting lawnmowers on trailers now. So what was the next step before getting to this level?
Well, we started painting buses.
Yeah.
Early on, we started painting Prevost buses.
Really?
So in our area, we had Angola Coach,
Yeah.
Royal Coach, Liberty was 2 hours away. Then you have Texas Custom Coach, you have Ventari, a lot of RV stuff, of course, in Elkhart, but the buses there was a lot of conversion companies at that time.
So you've been painting these buses for close to 30 years
probably
now.
92 was probably, 93 was probably the first bus.
So 27, 28 years
Yeah.
you've been painting buses. It's all starting to make sense now with your competitive spirit and your 27, 28 years of history of painting these buses and all of the wisdom that goes into that. It's starting to make a little bit of sense. Now, I'm sure there were some other fun projects. I know you were real big in the powerboat scene at one point. How did you get into the powerboat scene?
Well, Skater, which is Douglas Marine, builds a boat called a Skater, not a Skeeter, a Skater. And Skater are up to 50, 55 feet that run over 200 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So we have painted the fastest boats in the world, the most expensive go-fast boats, the most exotic paint jobs. And we did that early on because we weren't cutting on the boats. We had the computer templates, and we could go in and paint. I think I painted, 98 was the first boat I did, and it was a 50-foot power boat, 12 feet wide, catamaran.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So then, once people saw it, it just changed the whole industry. And then we quickly got well known from the magazines at the time, got well known about what we're able to accomplish. And we've done techniques and paint jobs that are they're just hard to reproduce.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I have clients that had boats painted by you. The Dean Loucks, the Art of Design name in the boat world and the RV world, you guys have definitely raised the bar all around.
Done stuff for the Sheikhs of Dubai, Sultan of Malaysia, Randy Travis painted 3 buses for Randy. Just great people. They're all different. Everyone does something different, for their jobs, employment. It's just neat to hear the stories of what everyone's got going on that you're doing the work for. And the boat for Puma. So the time we come across and we're working full time for Liberty and taking on all their product line, Puma Clothing came and said, hey, we're doing a big sailboat, 70-foot sailboat for the Volvo Ocean Race. Well, Volvo just bought Prevost.
Oh yeah.
So then we just start working for Liberty. And so we go paint this big boat, which you have to see it online. It's just incredible. There's 96,000 droplets on the side of the boat that are ghosted that you only see when the sun hits it, that makes it look like a stingray skin.
Yeah.
And then there's water droplets on the back deck that are little Puma cats that are shadowed and highlighted 3 different colors to make them look like they're dimensional. And they're this big to that big, and there's 32,000 thereabouts of these water droplets that had 3 colors on them. The stuff on this boat was just incredible.
And about how many man hours went into painting that boat?
Over 3,000.
3,000 man hours. Yeah, I had a chance to see just a painting of that boat at your shop in Elkhart, Indiana. And when I was in your showroom, I was kind of just like gravitated towards that painting of that boat because it's one of the coolest paintings I've ever seen. So
that's a whole other thing. I don't think you can do what we do at this level unless you go back to owning the shop, designing, painting myself. There isn't anything that happens at the shop. Matter of fact, the trailer and my coach, I painted probably 75% of all the color that you see. I did myself. So in '98, we did the first $2 million motor coach ever made.
Really?
Yeah.
Ever built? Wow, that's incredible. And now they're pushing $3 million now. So, Dean, I cannot thank you enough for sharing your story. Appreciate all of you watching today's video. Hope you all enjoyed hearing that amazing story. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more cool RV related content and meet more cool people like this. Greatly appreciate all of you. Hope you're all having a great day.
Good seeing you.
Thank you.